All right. So let's go ahead and get started. The first question I have for you, and maybe we'll go ahead and start with Dawnie here, is what was your why in starting this business or nonprofit in this case?
Right. So I have a son that is autistic. He's 21 years old. And I'm also I'm also involved in another nonprofit that over the last 2 years, I watched about 100 young adults with special needs, just really affected by like how we all were affected by COVID, but they were especially so. And the point that the only thing they had going on in their life was like an hour call on Friday night. So all of them are looking for jobs. All of them need jobs. And quite honestly, this is where I'm at in my own life with my son. And I needed to create a job. And I've been in retail for a really long time. So that part of it was kind of a no-brainer for me. And I just want to create jobs for these kids to give them purpose, give them a reason to get up in the morning and move on with their day. So.
Love it. Love it. Great. Brooke, what was your why in creating this new leadership framework? Oh, you're on mute.
I pressed the unmute button like 3 times, but now I think you can hear me.
I saw that.
For me, it actually goes way back. I think it's been something that's been percolating in me for 15, 16 years now. It really, the seed was planted in me when I had risen to what I thought was the top of my career journey or my career ladder, only to find that this career ladder thing is really broken. And I was unhappy in my role. So I got an opportunity to start my own consulting practice, which was focused on leadership and coaching and other professional development areas. And really, as I started to continue to work in this space, because it's really been my life's work, I started to hear again and again that from people in classrooms, why do I have to manage people to be in this room right now? Or is leadership about a title or a level? And I started to really take note because I heard it all of the time. And then I heard my clients who were asking me to create these programs, asking me for more. What's next? What else can you do for emerging leaders or high potentials or people managers? And then I just really started to collect all that data, that anecdotal data. And I had this eye-opening moment where I'm like, there's something wrong in many cases about how we're doing leadership development. I'm not throwing the whole leadership bag out, baby out with the bathwater, but I think there was an opportunity for a new model, which is really about leaders at all levels, that simplifies and democratizes leadership. So it's been a journey, but that was my why and kind of how I got here today.
I love that. Love that. It's going to be so needed in so many organizations, particularly I think in some of those startups, right, that are just starting to think about, how are we going to lead and what is that going to look like for teams and so forth. So
yeah, I found that to be true. Small startups who don't have a lot of infrastructure around this yet, and even working with innovative companies who know that something's off or they're missing something with their current programs and want to do something a little different.
Yeah, good. Chris, what's your why?
Well, my why actually just comes right off of what Brooke talked about. I spent 25 years with a pharmaceutical company. I was very happy. I had gone up to where I thought I wanted to be because I didn't want to keep moving, got settled in, and then took an early retirement and left. And then when I went to another company, I saw all the problems Brooke just talked about and literally had PTSD from those 3 years. And so I said, what do I want to do? I want to own my own destiny. And at the same time, playing tennis, the bags were driving me crazy. And I kept saying, I'm going to make a bag. I'm going to make a bag. And Recreate just came at the right time for me. And my why was to not go back to corporate America, basically.
Yeah, get it. Well, it's interesting because you also said that I had never really thought about this, but that a lot of the bags, tennis bags out there, they don't stand upright. They don't hold enough things. You can't find things if they don't have pockets or different zipper compartments and so forth. So I just love that you're just thinking so holistically about, the needs of tennis players too, and how that can just make their game so much easier because they don't have to rumble around into the bag and they don't have to like bend down in uncomfortable positions to get stuff out. And so there's sort of an element of, comfort for your body and for yourself as an athlete too. So I loved all that.
Especially for the mind.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. I love that. Good. So we know that it's challenging, right? To start a business, it can be scary. It can be really challenging. It's a lot of work. And then it's also fun and it's exciting and rewarding. But I think it's good for people to know the truth, right? What are some of the things that have been challenging for you in building this and getting this going? Anything that comes to mind? I can sort of let whoever thinks of something first start, and then we'll go around.
I'm happy to just tag on, just having spoken. I think the time management is a big thing. Most of us were doing another full-time job or 2 or 3 part-time jobs and trying to make that work. And then I think just the, what's the word? Maybe the fortitude, the confidence to go ahead and take that next step. Like, I'm a procrastinator, so there are times that I could procrastinate it. And then once I did it, I was like, well, that was so simple. But
Right.
it's getting to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Great point. So it's interesting you said that because we've actually added a time management pre-course for this next cohort round. So I think that I sort of underestimated that was a real challenge for folks. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
That's cool.
I was just going to say, I mean, mine's a little different just because it's a nonprofit, and I'm kind of at a standstill because I've applied for my 501(c) and have not received it. So as far as like having investors get involved, because I've had a couple different people approach me since the pitch contest, and I can't do anything without that. So I feel like I'm at the mercy of the government. I mean, like just, the state really. Of okaying that. And then it's just kind of stopped me in other places. So that's kind of my challenge right now.
Interesting. So until you actually get the approval for the entity or the official documentation on the entity, you can't accept sponsorship or funding.
I've done a couple pop-up shops and I have money sitting in a separate bank account that just is going to sit there, right, until I have a nonprofit number. But for any kind of investor to want to
I see.
hand me a large amount of money to basically let me get more to where I want to be, no, I need that number.
Yeah, got it. Okay. Yeah, tricky, but exciting that they're out there and that they're clamoring, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's an important point for those folks on the call who might be thinking about starting a nonprofit. Getting that in process sooner than later is a good thing to do, right? So because it can take a bit longer, because an LLC takes 5 minutes on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. All right, good. Thanks for sharing. Mm-hmm. Brooke, what's been challenging?
Well, I have kind of 2 sets. I have, the challenging from starting a consulting practice from the ground up. When I look back, the 2 biggest learnings that I had from that time are setting boundaries, whatever that boundary is for you. It's very, well, this is related to number 2. It's really easy to say yes to everything because you're starting something new and you're like, yes, 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 that sounds good, because you're trying to start a business and make a living, which is all important stuff. But knowing the right things to say yes to, and also having boundaries that you set for your personal life as well. So if you want to say yes to everything, be prepared to be working around the clock. And if you have pets or kids or spouses or hobbies, you need to protect those things. So I think those are some of my key challenges / learnings that I learned from starting my consulting practice. Mm-hmm. And then I think after doing this for 15 years, shifting into this new model of leadership, I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but during the Recreate process, we had to do what's called a user validation, which was a great experience to really test this idea with the world. And in doing that, you find that people know you for what you've always done, which is great, because that's how I built my business. But then when you're really trying to change hearts and minds around something, that takes and staying focused and staying on it. I've started shifting into what's working well when you course and you keep talking about it and keep espousing it and talking with clients and potential customers, it starts to really change things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a really good point, because we have this great idea and we're really excited to get it out in the world, and we're just absolutely sure that it's the thing. And then we talk to people. Well, first of all, if you talk to people that all like you, they all say, yeah, that's a great idea.
Right.
But then you go out and you talk to people who they don't know you necessarily, and they could be your potential client, and then that starts to shift a little, right? And so I think the biggest learning there is, as an entrepreneur, is how do I adjust a bit to the market? And am I open to being flexible so that I'm actually really solving a problem or meeting a market need or helping, serve my customers best? So it requires us to be a little flexible too, right? After those.
Absolutely. Huge learning.
Yeah, that's great. Love it. Something that was particularly rewarding for you right now. What are you excited about and feel is rewarding?
Well, I'll pick up where I left off a little bit. I'm starting to feel really rewarded by telling the story. This is an origin story that comes from my own life, and really building it out through Recreate and putting it out into the world through my program and speaking and coaching. And I also put my origin story into I was a contributor to a book, which is actually being launched today, Voices of the 21st Century, that tells this story. So that's been hugely rewarding, and I'm super excited. It all is syncing and coming together.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people are your story resonates. So they're saying, oh my gosh, I totally get it. And that makes so much sense. And that feels so good, right? To be creating that community of like-mindedness. Oh, please do put if you haven't already, please do put the book link in the chat, Brooke, so that folks can grab it if they want.
Thanks.
Grab a copy of it. Good. All right. So Dawnie, rewarding.
Well, just this whole experience for me has been rewarding. I mean, just being part of Recreate, and kind of another part of my why that was a big part of mine when we started this was I was also going through divorce after being married for 25 years and had this idea and probably would have done nothing with it had I not, got involved with. For sure, I would not have done anything with it had I not gotten involved in Recreate. So, we, like you said, just all of us got to pitch, and what has come from that, not even from that room, but just, then like Brooke says, talking about your story to other people and people seeing that we actually did that, right? We all put Recreate, the pitch event on our Facebook. So 2 different people have reached out to me, both very established investors, and it's very exciting and scary at the same time. But this is kind of, I'm probably answering one of your other questions, but just having the accountability and the group and the minds that we all would come together and think together, and the accountability. I was in a group with Chris the whole time, and weekly we would get on these Monday morning calls. And just what this group of women brought to my week and my heart and my life, every single Monday morning. And then we would get together with everybody on these weekends. And it just was the accountability that I needed. Mm-hmm. And I think we could all speak to this. We all ended up being such winners in this game because we now have this community around us that is just unspeakable. You don't just meet these people on the street, right?
Yeah. Oh,
so it's just been amazing.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, that was our initial intention with even the name Recreate, because you know, we all go through these life events, right? That can be really scary and difficult and sad, but also exciting. And, you know, how can we turn that into something, or how can we take advantage of being able to do something that we've maybe always wanted to do? And so I feel like the name is really appropriate there, but.
Oh, for sure. I recreated my life.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, for real, recreated my life, and just, you know, ended up with this great, amazing group of women around me. So.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. So what's been rewarding for you, Chris?
Well, I have to echo what Dawnie said. But I'm going to take it a step further. Rewarding for me, I won. That was huge reward and exciting. But it was so amazing to watch the group of women from day one. And I still remember I sat with Brooke the first day and we're like, what'd she say? Do what? I can't do that. I don't know how to do that. And we worked through it all. And you brought us people who made us engage during the project. And that was key. But again, rewarding for me is watching how everybody elevated. So there was no winner. We all won. We all won in different ways. And I think it's going to be amazing to watch how we all progress. So to me, that was really the win out of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's going to be so fun to see, like, where are we all in 6 months, you know? Or
yes, we're going to have reunions.
Yeah.
We need to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I add one more thing to
Please.
that question? I just want to piggyback on what both Dawnie and Chris have said. I think for me as a solopreneur, it can be overwhelming. All the things that I need to, have to, want to do, but I'm the only one. And, you know, Recreate really brought it all to us in one place. So for me, that was huge. Like I've spent, and many people who are listening to this right now have probably spent gobs of money and time doing this and doing that, and then trying to implement it on our own. And we just know, you know, some of us can do that, but a lot of us can't. So I am really thankful for everything that was brought to us and packaged in such a way that we could make sense of it. We could learn from each other. We could prop each other up. So I just wanted to add that in.
I'm glad you said that. That was also the intention, right? Is to just help, you know, that there's nothing worse than wasting time and money, and to try to have, you know, as much as you can at your fingertips, right? So, you know, like, okay, this person's going to be the right vendor for this, or this person's going to be worth the spend. So continuing to do that. And you all have such incredible networks and have been great resources there too for each other, and also for Recreate. So we really appreciate that participation in the community. This has been amazing. You've said such incredible things about Recreate. I really appreciate it. That was my next question, but I think we've covered that. I'd rather get into more about where are you kind of now, more tactically. What are you sort of looking for, you know, in the immediate future? And are there any asks that you have of all of us in this community, both in the Facebook group, here on Zoom, of me, of us? So what are you doing now? What's the immediate future plan, and what could we do for you to support?
Sure. Do you want me to start? I'll start.
Yeah, please.
So I'm in a really exciting place. The technical sketches are being done, and I was out at Fabric. So there's an organization called Fabric Incubator. They essentially tried to bring design and manufacturing of clothing and that type of thing to Arizona, and to a one-stop shop, if you will. So I'm working with them, took the fabric in, very exciting. So I'm really excited to get that first bag that I can actually hold in my hand and go, oh my gosh, now that's wrong, or this is wrong, but that's okay.
Right.
And you mentioned pickleball, Melissa. I've had people say, you have to do pickleball. I'm like literally going to do it in parallel. I was going to do it afterwards.
Terrific.
No sense in waiting. So it's just a really exciting time. And the ask, I guess, that I have now is a little different than before. Before it was places where I can do pop-ups, and granted, I still want to do that, but I really want to manufacture in the US, and I really want to use as much material from the US as possible. So zippers and hardware and all of that. Anybody has any connections there? I would love that.
Okay, that's great. And then I think you also have a landing page too that you're collecting emails so that people can kind of be in the know of when the bag's going to drop and where you're going to do a shop, or where
Absolutely.
you again, etc.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Put that in the chat, and there will be some changes coming to that, but it'll all be good stuff. And yeah,
terrific, love it. All right, so hardware. Different suppliers in the US for manufacturing.
yes.
Go jump on putawaybags.com and drop your email if you want to learn more about the bags that are coming out. Yay! All right, super.
I'll jump in. I mean, kind of where I'm at right now is I'm just doing 2 pop-ups a month. And just to kind of, I don't know, like get out there in the community, really. And it's really just been my community because like I haven't gotten too far at it. Like the other 2, I work full time, and this has to be on in the little spaces of time that I can throw in there until I can step away from my full-time position. So I would say like a big ask probably would be financial help for a permanent space. If there's real estate investors are out there that would donate space for a nonprofit, just to kind of like have a spot to be. I have the kids, I have the product. So it's just really the space. Like right now I'm doing it in my garage and I'm just putting it on my social media. I'm like telling my groups of people, but it works. So
great. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
That just triggered something too. So I remind me that I want to introduce you to someone. So after, that's great. So a space that you could actually set up a shop in and help support that. That's great. There was something else I just thought of too. Just slipped my mind. Oh, pop-up shops. So the pop-ups, do you advertise those anywhere? Can anyone come and attend or
yeah, I mean, the first one I put on, I have an Instagram page. And so the first one was on there. And then I just have a couple of different groups that I've like put it in just because it's in my garage. And I feel like, I don't know, I'm not really getting out there. But I mean, with that came people donating furniture last week. So I mean, like I have some like amazing pieces of furniture sitting in my garage now.
Cool.
Chris, an orange couch that you might need for your house. It's brand new. Like, it's beautiful. Anyway, that's another subject. But yes, I mostly right now through Instagram or on my Facebook page.
Okay.
Like, and I just, I have like a marketing that says pop-up shop. And then I just
okay, perfect. Yeah, because it'd be great to come by.
Yeah.
We know those dates.
And my Instagram is just Uplift for Purpose. So if you type that in, that's what comes up. So.
All right. Perfect. Yes. All right, Brooke, where are you? What you need?
Yeah, really what I am focusing on right now is putting my story out into the world as much as possible. So I am a speaker on large and small stages, virtual or in person. So really wanting to share my message out there through speaking. And then with the hopes that will intrigue you and you'll want to know more. So really what I'm hoping to do and what my plans are is to travel the country speaking, talking about leading without limits, getting people excited about it. And so I'm looking for speaking opportunities. I'm also going to pop my opt-in into the chat here in just a second with a video that you can watch, and then that will connect us. And if you like what you see, we can continue the conversation. So that's really where I am and how I'm moving forward with this.
I love that. And the objective, I think, if I understood, was to also maybe create a library of resources at some point so that folks will be able to kind of access on their own some videos and some, PDFs and things like that about different ways of leading. So
yes. So yeah, the speaking will drive, I mean, it doesn't have to go in this order, but yes, there will be, you'll get a sneak peek with this link I'll put in the chat. And then all of my modules will be digitized and available for access if you want to do the program on your own. And if you're someone who works in a corporation and you would like a facilitated program or coaching around the program, those are all things that I offer related to Leading Without Limits. So there's lots of different ways that you can access it wherever you are in your leadership journey.
That's great. I love it. All right. Well, anything that I didn't ask you that you'd like to mention as a sort of a last comment? And if anyone has questions, if they want to drop them in chat, I'll see them. Then I'm happy to open it up for everyone out there. But
I just was thinking of one other thing. I know we talked about Recreate, but like another kind of huge part of our weekends is we took time to have fun, whether it was in the daily program or the Friday night before. And I like loved that part of it, just being able to connect personally with people, not just, you know, we're all building businesses, but
yeah,
it was amazing. Like all the activities that we did and went from there. So
it's nice to hear you say that. You know, when we originally created Recreate as an accelerator, business accelerator, we, you know, obviously modeled that off of other accelerators, but we also knew that there needed to be something more. And the fact that, you know, obviously we were just coming out of the pandemic and also we were still in the middle of it. But also we know that, you know, when you have the chance to have fun and just sort of enjoy yourself and talk informally, that can spark creativity and innovation. And then that helps you be even more creative when you're working on your business. So I'm glad that you enjoyed the fun events. We're going to continue to do those in the hybrid for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and Melissa, the only other thing I would add, and I think Dawnie said this, but I really am 100% confident that I would not have started this business without Recreate. And I want to really make that clear because, and Brooke said, you know, it was one-stop shop. You brought us everything. It's true. And that's what also kept me engaged because I could have easily been like, I'm not going to do that. But the engagement of the other women, of you, of the facilitators. I mean, I've had designs and things in my head that I've wanted to create and launch for eons. And I never knew the first step. And it was always, I don't know how to manufacture, I'm out.
Right.
So I just really want to plant that yes, there's an investment, but in my mind, the investment has paid off.
Great.
for sure.
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, it's like you don't know what you don't know, and then then you learn it, right? I mean,
and there's still things every day that we're going to learn, but that's okay because now we're revved up.
Yeah, right. And you also know that that's okay. It's okay that you don't know. You just have to find people that do know and help you. Right. You know, it's kind of like, you know, in internal jobs, women apply for jobs that they're already qualified for because it makes them feel safe. And it's like, well, being an entrepreneur, you can't start a business knowing everything already. You don't know things, so you have to figure it out. And there's stuff you may not want to know, which is why you hire great vendors to figure it out for you, right? Like, do you want to sew zippers on every single one of your bags? No, let someone else do that.
Right.
And figure it out. So that's a really good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. All right.
Yeah, and I'll just add one last little thing. This is on a thread, but you know, a little over a year ago, when I was entertaining the idea of doing this, I think I told you, Melissa, I'm interested, but I'm scared. And you said, why are you scared? And, you know, push through that. And I think that was one of the best things that I ever did. And if someone is thinking about this or considering it, you know, everything that is important that we want to do is going to make us a little nervous. That's how we know it's important to do. And it turned out that, yeah, there were definitely, you know, learning points along the way that weren't always fun. But when you push through those, you realize, okay, I needed that. There was, you know, I don't know, not to get woo woo, but the universe was trying to tell me I needed that. And then, you know, here it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
And even if it's just enough to know, like, I think I sort of just said this, but even if it's just enough to know theoretically or high level to say, I don't really actually want to do that part. I'm going to outsource that to somebody who does know and can do it well, right, on a team. But it's something that's necessary for my business and for my business to grow. So
exactly.
And that's also okay. But at least you have a sense of what's needed. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's been truly a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for being here. and for being part of the Recreate Action Tank. And I look forward to, we're going to continue on with our kick bums meetings, our monthly kick bum meetings. So we'll see you there. But I wish you all a really fabulous day and much success and a good rest of your week.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Melissa. So good to see you, ladies.
Yeah,
Take
you
care,
too.
everyone.
Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.